Morning television thrives on the unexpected. From cooking segments that go hilariously wrong to celebrity guests who spill secrets they didn't mean to, the live format has always carried an element of risk and delight. But on this particular episode of Live with Kelly and Mark, even longtime co-host Kelly Ripa found herself navigating an unscripted moment so bizarre that it had the entire audience howling with laughter and covering their noses. It all started innocently enough. The producers had scheduled a pet adoption spotlight segment to highlight dogs from a local rescue shelter. The show often partners with shelters to encourage viewers to consider adopting, and these segments are usually heartwarming crowd pleasers. Kelly and Mark Consuelos, her husband and co-host, are both animal lovers, so the enthusiasm was genuine. A handler brought out a fluffy golden retriever named Milo, an adorable ball of fur with big brown eyes. The audience instantly melted. Milo wagged his tail furiously, soaking up the applause as Kelly bent down to pet him. "You are just the most handsome boy I've ever seen," Kelly cooed, giving Milo a scratch behind the ears. Mark chimed in, "Kelly, I think you've just fallen in love. Again." The handler smiled politely and began to explain Milo's background. He was about 2 years old, had been rescued from a rural shelter, and was now looking for his forever home. Everything was going smoothly until Milo suddenly squatted. At first, Kelly didn't quite notice what was happening. Her head was tilted toward the handler as she nodded enthusiastically. The audience, however, began to murmur. Some gasped. Others laughed nervously. Then came the unmistakable sound, followed by the unmistakable smell. Oh no," Mark said, stepping back a little too late. Kelly turned, eyes widening in disbelief. Right there, in the middle of the pristine studio floor, Milo was relieving himself with all the concentration of a dog who clearly didn't care about Nielsen ratings. "That's pungent," Kelly announced, wrinkling her nose, but breaking into laughter. The audience erupted, clapping and roaring with amusement. Someone in the back shouted, "It's live TV, baby." The camera, unsure of whether to pan away, stayed fixed on the scene. Kelly, never one to waste comedic timing, took control. "Well, folks, this is why they call it live. You can't script this." Mark tried valiantly to keep the show moving. "Milo is just making himself right at home," he quipped. "At least he's comfortable. That's what we want in a pet, right?" The handler scrambled for paper towels while a stagehand rushed in with a mop and disinfectant spray. Milo, oblivious to the chaos, wagged his tail happily, clearly proud of his accomplishment. Kelly covered her mouth as she laughed, tears beginning to form. "I can't. This is... Mark. We've had a lot of things happen on this set, but I don't think we've ever had this." "Not that I can remember," Mark replied, trying not to step into the freshly soiled spot. "Though I think this is going to be one for the highlight reel." The audience applauded again, some fanning the air dramatically. Kelly, ever the professional comedian in disguise, leaned into the moment. She crouched next to Milo, carefully avoiding the mess, and whispered loudly into his ear. "You know, Milo, some of us have stage fright. Clearly you don't." The handler finally managed to clean up, while Kelly and Mark vamped. "If you adopt Milo, you'll never need to worry about your carpet staying too clean," Mark joked. "Or maybe he's just trying to mark his territory," Kelly added, wagging her finger. "On my stage, no less." By the time the set was sanitized and the segment continued, the energy in the studio had transformed. What could have been a disaster had become one of the most memorable and oddly charming moments in live history. The aftermath. During the next commercial break, Kelly and Mark were reportedly still laughing so hard they could barely get through the intro of the following segment. Kelly later joked, "I might actually start carrying Febreze in my dressing room now, just in case." Fans watching at home quickly took to social media, flooding Twitter and Instagram with clips and memes. One viewer posted, "This is the most relatable morning show moment ever. Dog's gonna dog." Another wrote, "Give Milo a contract. He's a star now." By the afternoon, Milo was trending on social media. The rescue shelter even reported a spike in calls and adoption inquiries. "It's true," the shelter director confirmed. Milo has gone viral, and yes, he's still available for adoption. Though after today, we don't expect him to be for long.
Kelly's take.
On the following day's show, Kelly addressed the incident again, opening the episode with her signature blend of candor and humor. "You know," she began, "when people ask me what it's like to do live television every single morning, I usually say, expect the unexpected. But even I wasn't expecting that." She paused for dramatic effect before adding, "I stand by what I said. It was pungent. But honestly, it was also perfect. Because life is messy, right? And sometimes you just have to laugh through it." Mark nodded. "I think Milo taught us all a valuable lesson yesterday. Don't hold it in. Just maybe not on a talk show set." The studio audience roared with laughter, clearly reliving the now legendary moment. Why these moments matter. Daytime television often walks a fine line between entertainment and chaos. Viewers tune in not only for celebrity interviews or lifestyle tips, but also for the authenticity, the sense that anything can happen. That's what makes live shows so enduring. Kelly Ripa has built her career on that very principle. Whether it's her self-deprecating humor, her quick wit, or her willingness to laugh at the absurd, she knows how to turn accidents into opportunities. The dog incident was no exception. Instead of treating it as a crisis, she transformed it into comedy gold. And, in a way, Milo's unscripted bathroom break highlighted something profound. Real life doesn't wait for the cameras to cut. It happens in all its messy, inconvenient, sometimes stinky glory. That's why viewers felt such joy. It wasn't just funny, it was real. A star is born. As for Milo, the golden retriever, he became an overnight sensation. By evening, fans had set up parody Twitter accounts in his name. Posts like "I regret nothing," #LiveWithMilo, and "When you gotta go," spread like wildfire. Late-night hosts even got in on the fun. One joked, "Kelly Ripa said it was pungent." Imagine how bad it would have been if the segment had featured cows instead. The rescue shelter, overwhelmed but thrilled, announced they were considering a special adoption event in Milo's honor. "If one dog pooping on live TV can get people to pay attention to animal adoption, then we'll take it," the director said. Conclusion. Television history is full of unforgettable, unscripted moments, but few are as pure and as hilariously human as what happened that morning on Live with Kelly and Mark. Kelly's quip, "That's pungent," will live on in blooper reels, fan compilations, and the memory of everyone who watched. Mark's quick thinking and the audience's laughter turned potential embarrassment into one of the most delightful segments in the show's long history. And Milo? Well, he may not have known what all the fuss was about, but he left his mark on the set, literally and figuratively. As Kelly summed it up perfectly the next day, "In the end, Milo gave us all a gift: laughter."